first question from Franklin McNeil with ESPN.com.
My question is for Rich Franklin. Rich, the past few fights you've been fluctuating in weight, going from middleweight to catchweight 195 and now 205. What is your plan? Do you plan to stay at 205 at this point?
I mean, that's my plan, but honestly, I didn't plan on being in the position I'm in now, coaching the show and fighting Chuck and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much I'm just kind of the type of person that does what the UFC needs to do and pushing me in the direction of Phil Fox. So my plan is to stay there.
Is becoming a champion again, is that your goal, Phil?
It's always the goal. You know, I mean, otherwise I'm just, it's nice to put on some big fights and stuff like that. I have a great opportunity here fighting Chuck. But, you know, eventually it's the kind of things you want to move fast and move toward a title.
Now, Chuck, I read that Chuck has brought in Howard Davis Jr. to work on some adjustments in his stand-up game. Have you made any changes to your camp or to your style going into this fight?
Stylistically, we've made some changes, but I haven't made a whole lot of changes to my camp. I didn't really, I spent time in Seattle prior to my camp actually starting, but for my 8 or 9 week prep, I basically did everything here in Cincinnati.
And my last question is for Chuck. Chuck, you've been quoted as saying you expect to end this fight early and be a knockout. Is that just the approach you take for every fight, or is it something in Rich's style that you think you can exploit?
No, that's the approach I take in every fight. I'm always trying to end it early. I'm always trying to end the fight. So, yeah, I'm coming after him. But, yeah, it's just something that's the way I fight.
And regardless, obviously in your last few fights, there have been people who question your future in the sport. Regardless of the outcome of this fight, what is your intent? Do you intend to continue fighting regardless?
That's something I've always crossed. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. After at the end of the fight, I'll decide what I want to do next. So, you know, I'm planning on making another run at this title, and that's what I want to do. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
We'll take our next question from Neil Davidson with the Canadian Press.
Thank you. This is for Chuck. Chuck, your original opponent was somebody you didn't like very much, and there was more animosity built up during the filming of the show. You're now fighting somebody who I believe you know pretty well and respect a lot and like. Was it difficult shifting from somebody you didn't like and was looking forward to knocking their block off to somebody fighting a friend?
Well, I mean, for a couple of days it probably was, but, you know, I respect Rich, and I think he's a bigger challenge than Tito for sure. So that motivates you more to get in the gym, and I got to be prepared for him. He's going to show up in shape. He's going to be there to fight. So I better show up ready to go, or I'm going to pay for it.
Just a quick follow-up. Do you think that you'll ever fight Tito again?
I don't know. You have to talk to him about that. If he comes back, I've made my case clear to Dana. I think if he comes back, he should have to fight me to get back in. But no, we'll see.
Okay, thank you. Good luck to both of you.
We'll take our next question from Dave Diebert with Ken West News Service.
Hi, guys. Thanks for the call. Just a quick one for Rich. Wondering if you could just go through the process of how you ended up here. You know, in terms of getting the call from the company, just everything that went into that, and sort of a follow-up. Was there any hesitation in taking this?
You know, I was at my house, I think it was like a Wednesday evening or something like that, and Dana called me and informed me that Tito had pulled out the fight due to an injury to his neck or something like that, and asked me if I would come out to Vegas to finish the show, the last week of the show with Chuck, and take the fight at the end between the coaches. And there were two questions I had for Dana at the time. One, I wanted to know if Tito was still going to be there, and he said at the time I tested coming out there, I didn't know if Tito was still going to be there or not. They hadn't decided whether or not they were going to kick him off the show. And two, I just asked Dana, I said, did you check with Chuck and his camp to make sure that they're cool with this fight? And Dana, of course, said to me, you know, this is Chuck's professional, and you know, I know you guys are acquaintances and friends and whatnot, and you know, everybody's willing to do that Chuck really wanted to fight Tito, then I'm game. Something had to be done. So I said whatever you need me to do, I'll do.
All right. And once all that was cleared up, there was no hesitation in taking the fight?
No, I was looking for some time off after the Vanderlei fight last year, and of course the UFC after the 100 show really left themselves kind of barren with nobody to headline the show, and they needed me for 103. And although I would have rather taken some time off at that point in time, they called me asking me to take this fight. And I said yes in September. So after the September show, even though the UFC called me a couple times asking me to fight again, I still said no. And this was about the time frame that I wanted to jump back in anyway. So, I took some time off and had the ability to physically reset, mentally reset, and the timing was perfect.
All right, and just a quick one for Chuck. You've seen you mention it in interviews, and some people around you have said it. Shape that you're in. How are you feeling? Fitness-wise, conditioning, all that stuff.
I'm in great shape. I came into camp in shape. We kind of did a mini camp during the show. Got in good shape. Stayed in shape when I took some time off. Right after the show before I started camp, but still was working out the whole time and stayed in shape. And coming into camp in shape was made it a lot easier. Started out in shape and been in camp since April 1st. So we've been going for a long time, and I'm feeling great.
All right, that's good. Thanks very much, you guys.
We'll take our next question from Drew Hall with the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Thank you. My first question is for Rich. You work with Rob Bradford as your boxing coach. Going into this fight with Chuck Liddell, what's been some of his points of emphasis going into this fight?
I'm not sure those are the kind of things that I want to talk about before the fight.
Okay. How pivotal has he been with helping you prepare for Chuck?
I'll tell you what, Rob's been very pivotal. I mean, just with pretty much every fight that I've been involved in from the time I started working with him. He's been the master craftsman of my footwork and all that kind of stuff. So I gotta give him a lot of credit for all the stand-up that I've learned over the years.
Thank you. My last question is for Chuck. Chuck, this has been the longest layoff in your whole entire pro mixed martial art career. Getting into the cage is going to be almost 14 months. Do you think cage rest could play a potential factor in the first round just due to timing?
My timing's on. I'm in great shape. I'm ready to go. I've never had the chance. I'll let you know after the fight if I thought I had ring rust. I don't know. I mean, I don't see it being a problem. I think that's something that's psychological for some guys. I love being in the ring, so hopefully that's gonna let me avoid having any ring rust, quote unquote ring rust. That's whatever it is.
All right. Well, thank you guys both. Appreciate it.
We'll take our next question from Shannon Owens with Orlando Sentinel.
Hi guys. Some of my questions were already answered, but for Chuck, I do want to know what kind of things have you been working on to get yourself in great shape? Because I've heard that talked about a lot as far as you being in the best shape of your life.
A lot of it had to do with the time of training and taking. I've been staying in shape and keeping in shape and not letting myself get out of shape. I used to get out of shape in the off season and come back and spend most of my camp getting in shape. This time I showed up in camp, got in shape. I also doing a different kind, some static lifting type stuff. I've added to it. Doing some other things different, but for the most part, I think it's a consistency of training. I've been working since November. Kind of working straight through pretty much to here. So I've been staying in shape and getting ready.
What about diet? Do you make changes there in things that you eat, or?
Yeah, I think my diet's changed. I've done, and another thing, I used to go on my diet during the training camp, but then now it's been kind of year-round now, so I'm keeping it to keep my weight down. I think I've done it since, kept my weight down, watched my diet since September when I won that bet against Dana. Bet with Dana about really getting my weight down to 215. And I've kind of stayed between 215 and 225 for, since September.